Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing today? Well, Gaijin. It's a new year. And it's time for Gaijin, you people there in wherever you're at in Russia, to take a few moments to assess your game properly. Now, before anyone goes, I'm a hater, I'm not. I love this game. I think this game is absolutely spectacular. The only thing that I do not like is the fact that for some reason the number of available missions is horrible. Flying on something like Malta is not fun, especially at the tier where I've got all these planes at. I will not fly Malta for any nation. The reason I won't is because the map is ignorant. And that's a problem that Gaijin just really can't get their head around. And they never have gotten their head around it. They've had fairly good maps. Alternate History Kreminsk is a very good map. I like that. It's fair. It's got targets all over the place. And if you want to be a fighter jock flying straight at the enemy force, you go for it. That's what's fair about the map. I don't have to be a fighter jock flying directly into the teeth of the enemy fighters to do my job of putting ordnance on target, which is what attackers and bombers do. They put ordnance on target. But it's really difficult to do that when you've got all the targets directly between two air bases within spitting distance of each other. Yeah, this is the problem that Gaijin has failed on numerous patches to rectify. And this is a new year, 2021. We're working on year 9. And it's about time for Gaijin to spend a little bit of time, I would say at least 2 or 3 patches this year, in quality of gameplay. Not toys. The A7D is a toy. The A4E is a toy. The F4E is a toy. The F11F is a toy. They're all toys. MiG-21 BIS, it's a toy. All the tanks, all the ships, they're toys. It's the playing field that needs to change. And I know everyone wants their toys. Myself, I want the F8 Crusader to come to the game with no delays. It should have been here about a year ago. It wasn't. I'm dealing with it. We got the A7D. It's a great plane. Love to play with it. But I still would love to see Gaijin spend a lot of time on upgrading the playing surfaces. Now, I'm an aerialistic. And I know that there's people who are in ships and people in tanks, and we've all got our complaints about what map is good, what map is bad, what map is worthwhile, what map is not worthwhile. Unfortunately, in rank 6 aircraft, there are very few maps that are worthwhile to play. And I don't play fighters as a rule. I do not like to play fighters. I'm not good at it. And that's just the way it is. I'm not that good. I can bomb a pickle barrel from 1,000 meters. But chasing down enemy fighters, I'm not so good. And I'm not complaining about that. What I'm complaining about is the playing surface that we are offered. If I were driving tanks, I would want wide open spaces where I can see the enemy coming from 2,000 meters and be able to put a silver bullet right down his barrel. I don't drive tanks though. That's not to say that I don't have some. When I'm flying aircraft, I want to be able to go after targets that I choose to go after with my attackers and bombers. When you put everything directly between the two air bases, it becomes moot. At that point, not worth it. And many of these maps, that's exactly how it's laid out. Everything directly between the two air bases. Now, the ones that are different are Spain, alternate history Spain. Spain is different too, but Spain is kind of a waste as far as I'm concerned. Alternate history Kreminsk. Excellent layout there. Although the map could stand to be a bit larger. Afghanistan. Believe it or not, it's not a bad map for layout. It's got stuff spread out. So if you don't want to engage the enemy fighters directly, you don't have to. You can fly around them. And I know there are some people out there that are going to be going, but that's the reason for the game, to go out there and shoot people down. No. One of the things that they need to do is update their mission parameters and victory conditions. Maps are one thing. Layout of your map is another thing. Victory conditions are a completely separate thing. If you say that victory conditions are contingent upon completion of these missions, if you can't complete them, you don't win, period. And that doesn't matter whether you shoot down all the enemy aircraft. You don't win. You draw because you didn't complete the mission that was required at the start of the game or that particular bout. Now that might be as simple as you got to take out all three of those bombing targets, and as worthless as they are, they do provide a player with a tremendous amount of RP and silver. I know, I've been doing it. That's how you spade aircraft. Especially when you're talking about an attacker. And then throw in something else, like you've got to take out X number of bridges on the map. Okay, doable. Or you have to bomb a supply convoy. Not necessarily tanks, but you might have to take out all the trucks. Again, doable, but if you don't complete those additional side missions, you don't win. because you didn't do what it said to do. You lose, or at best, draw. Now, the other side, they can complete their mission. Let's say on one side you got to take out bridges and a supply convoy from the red team. Well, the red team's looking at the blue team going, I need to put a hurt on a tank park and a fuel dump that are located blank, and if I can't take those out, I lose the match because ground forces invade and take my place. And this is in Air Realistic. Your job in Air Realistic, especially with an attacker like the A7, is support of ground troops. Support of the ground mission. Now, somebody's going to say, well, why don't you just go play tanks? I don't want to play tanks. I'm no good at tanks, number one. Number two, I've already made my commitments on that, and until Gaijin does something about that, I won't play tanks. And number three, I can't play the aircraft in tanks until I drive a tank, and I'm not going to drive a tank. It's that simple. But you can do the same thing in Air Realistic or Air Simulator. Heck, in Air Arcade, you've got multiple ground targets to take out to win a match. But this is something Gaijin needs to spend time on. They need to work on the quality of their gameplay. It's something that's been lacking for years now. Yes, they throw in new maps. Boom, boom, boom. But they do the same thing over and over and over and over. And it's so annoying to get a map that you know there's no reason for you to be on that, because everything is directly between the two air bases. So what do you have to do? Fly at the enemy to get at the targets. Or if you're smart, you fly around behind them, hit the targets, and then get taken out because somebody turns around and goes, oh, you're back here? I'm going to get you. Or somebody's taking off late and they intercept you on your way in, and it's just all over. Attackers are not fighters. I don't care how good you are with them, and I can honestly say I can hold my own with attackers. Top three attackers: A7D, A4E, A4B. I've had the A4B longest. I've got the most air kills. I've also got the most ground kills. I've also got the most ship kills. This is where you should be massively going ahead with attackers, and bombers for that matter. You should be going after troop concentrations, tank concentrations, supply concentrations, or convoys. Gaijin's already set up trains on one or two maps. And on the Advance to the Rhine map, I believe, let's just take a look real quick. Where are you? Custom. Create session. Where are you? Thought I had that one saved. Oh, Battle for the Rhine? Yeah, there it is. This is a great one because you've got that rail yard right there in the middle of the city. That should be a high priority target. Not just for the number of targets you can hit all at once, but because it should be a high priority target for attackers, which means as an attacker, you have to fly directly at the enemy fighters. I know the old saying, no guts, no glory. All things come with a little bit of pain. Well, why should we do that? Why shouldn't the airfield be here and here? So that attackers can go here and fighters can go there. I'm saying they need to do some work to their maps. Battle for the Rhine should be a larger map. Period. Much larger, and move the air bases around. I would love to fly this with the A4 or the A7. I'd like to fly it with the Buccaneer. I mean, that's a lot of boom. That's a lot of boom, and it takes out a lot of targets. And it should be a lot of targets worth a lot of RP. I'm not worried about silver. I'm worried about RP. And that would be epic for RP. When you take out, 32, 33 rail cars, not to mention rip up the rail tracks while you're at it, you should be getting a massive buttload of RP. But we're not getting that. It would be what we really would like to, what I would like to see in War Thunder. I would like to see them spend 2 patches working on rejiggering and re-evaluating all of the maps that they have just neglected for years. When we're dealing with 8 years working on 9, and they haven't done much with their maps. I mean, yes, they've added some new ones. And don't even get me started on the naval maps. They are trash. They are absolute trash. You should be using the English Channel map, the Savo Island map, or Guadalcanal, if you will. They should be using all sorts of open ocean maps. Peleliu, all of those maps. They should be in use for naval. And the people who drive boats and they're sitting there going, but my small boats and capturing the point. Capturing the point? Are you serious? On water. Yeah, that's about as smart as, well, I'm going to try to keep this somewhat clean. In naval forces, it should be, you've got a convoy coming through and your job is to rip it apart. Or you've got a convoy that you're escorting and your job is to keep it intact. Wow, tough. Wow, that is hard to figure out. You got AI cargo ships, or landing ships, if you will, and you have to keep them alive or sink them. Why can't Gaijin do that? Is it too hard to figure out how to plan these things? Now, if they need a naval supervisor, not supervisor, but um, somebody who can give them an idea on how to set up an advisor, a naval advisor. Don't go looking at the Russian Navy. Go looking at the British Navy, the French and the Italians, and the Americans. Ask a commander, a guy who's got some rank, a retired commander, help you set up the naval matches and set them up on maps that are worth playing on. The arcade maps are arcade, period. Anything where you've got the idiotic layout, all I could think of is World of Warships. And I went, oh my God, what sort of living hell are you creating for these players? And that's what it is. It's just insanity. And now you got battleships. Woo! Let us sail on something the size of Savo Island, Iron Bottom Sound, Guadalcanal. If we can do that, that'd be great. New Guinea map. The New Guinea map has got lots of open ocean. It's got plenty of room for torpedo boats to come out and play with the big boys, trying to go after destroyers and cruisers and carriers. And gee, it's already set up for aircraft to be in the match. So you could have a 32-man team, 16 in ships, 16 in aircraft on each side. Gee, that would be 64. That's the max limit of your servers at the moment, I believe. If it isn't, then you set up your custom battles kind of poorly. I would love to see it set up in that manner. You've got aircraft that are taking off from their land bases or carriers, and you've got naval ships coming out to do battle. If you've got your fleet coming out, even if it's a Mosquito fleet, and it's got air cover, that's something to think about. That means you can get in there and do your job, which is putting fish into tin cans. Or tin cans can put fish into you, doesn't matter. It would be something to do. And it's something that Gaijin still needs to waste some time on rather than more toys. I want more toys too. I really do want more toys. But I'm willing to be patient for new toys if I get better maps, missions, victory parameters, and stuff like that. It's a new year. New thoughts. This Subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow, and we'll catch you in the sky in Air Realistic on the good maps. Take care, folks, and happy Happy New Year.